It's day 3 at the NAB AFL Draft Combine. Matty Lloyd is in town, the footies are finally out, and the dreaded beep test is also on the program. This is Total Access. I'm Damian Barrett at the basketball courts at the Australian Institute of Sport in Canberra, and we have a very, very big Total Access program today. Matthew Lloyd to join us, so too Guy McKenna. And to co-host the program, we have AFL.com.au draft expert Paul Daffey and AIS-AFL high performance manager Jason McCartney. First to you, Paul, welcome, and big day of testing. What did you make out of it?
Well, Joel Wilkinson from Queensland appears to be the star of the combine so far. He's been great in the speed and endurance events. Brad Harvey from the Eastern Rangers, great in the speed and power events. But Andrew Gaff, Josh Caddy and Dyson Heppel appear bulletproof. They're great in all disciplines. And of course, we've just had the beep test, the glamour event of the combine. Hayden Hector from the Gippsland Power, 15.7, breaking the record.
Jason, it's been a big day of testing, hasn't it, on a number of fronts. The footies are out, and take us through day 3 of testing if you can.
Yeah, look, it's been great. The footballs have been out, so obviously we had the kicking assessment, we had the clean hands and handball assessment, so that's great for the opportunity of the boys. We've been physically testing yesterday and then this afternoon, but to get out and have a look at the skills. So what we saw there was Josh Caddy with the clean hands, Dyson Heppel, Mitch Wallace. Kicking assessment was led by Jed Lamb, 97%, which is a record, taken from Dustin Martin last year. The first year he was about 85%. Aaron Young kicked the ball really well, Tom Liberatore. But for me in the beep test, 5 players in excess of level 15, outstanding, and another record. Hayden Hector trying out to get a position on the Gold Coast, the Greater Western Sydney list. He led it with 15.7. Andrew Gaff at 15.3, outstanding. Great results yesterday in speed as well. Joel Wilkinson has been the one that's just stood out athletically. Jacob Gilby, really good from Tasmania, plays a high half forward role, and he's ran a 15.1, so he's tested quite well.
And Paul, when you see, and you made mention that Wilkinson has won the 20-metre sprint and gone very, very well in the beep test. I mean,
15.3, you got
15.3. So I mean, to do it at the sprint end and the aerobic end, it's a guaranteed selection for Gold Coast, surely now.
You would think so. As a Queenslander, Gold Coast has first dibs on him. He's been working on his endurance. He thought that was a bit of a downfall previously, but he's been working on it to the extent that he's done very well. So I don't see how the Gold Coast could overlook him, really.
Jason, the footies were produced for the first time today, and I think the guys were really happy, weren't they? They finally could use the thing they're meant to be using. But out on the oval there, and it wasn't as windy as last year. It was perfect conditions in nice Canberra sunshine. And the Nathan Buckley kicking skills, what did you make of that today?
Look, it was great conditions. It was breezy last year. But the great thing is, conditions perfect, but there's so much pressure on those boys. Obviously, when they physically test, there's pressure, but this is skill execution. And Jed Lamb, 97% efficiency. He's had 29 out of 30. So one of his kicks was a 4. The rest were all 5s. Aaron Young, great result. That's something recruiters have probably... Aaron has had a focus on working on his kicking. So for him to get 87% there, really good. Tom Liberatore up there again. Gerald Ugle trying out for a spot in the Greater Western Sydney list. And Ben Jacobs, that's a great result because Ben is a prodigious left foot kick, but he's shown in that test he's been really good left and right.
We just see some of the footage here. The guys were asked to take the footy, weren't they? And then at very short notice, short left or short right, and they had to hit the target. The guys were standing in those targets. So for Jed Lamb to get 29?
29. So what have we got? 5 5s and a 4. That's outstanding because that is preferred and non-preferred, obviously.
Yeah, short, medium and long on left and right. So there's 6 kicks.
And the Matty Lloyd, or it might be your testing actually, the clean hands testing. We'll speak to Matty about that very soon. I think it might be yours, but he's claiming it's his test. But this was also introduced to the draft camp this year, and it had a big crowd following. And we see the results here. Josh Caddy, very clean hands in the clean hands test, 93% efficiency with a 28 out of 30 there. So, and Dyson Heppel scoring the same result. What else out of that, Paul?
Well, sorry, Paul, but the great thing about this test is it's the ability, if you're not clean with your take, the maximum score you can get out of 5 is only a 2. So if you fumble, and that's the game, the modern game, you haven't got time, you need to be clean and make good decisions. So we're pretty happy with how the test ran, and obviously Lloydie was put under a fair bit of pressure with the amount of kicks he had.
I'm especially impressed with Josh Caddy because he's known for his clean hands, inside, under, but he's also tested very well in the speed events, considering he was actually considered to be a bit slow. He's not. And he did very well in the endurance events where his competitive drive got him to the high 14s, I think.
Yeah, he's mid-14s.
Mid-14s. So he's brought himself into top 10 contention.
Sure. After last night's program, we had the repeat sprints, which we weren't able to get to air last night, but we have now got the results of the repeat sprint test, with the recruiters actually value very highly, don't they? And we see this name again, and the guy who's number 2 there as well, Joel Wilkinson number 1, Brad Harvey number 2. They're just dominating a lot of the testing, aren't they?
They certainly are, and for Joel and Brad in that one, it's obviously the 6 repeat efforts over 30 metres. So
and they're racing against each other in this one as well?
Yes, there is. There's three run at a time, and the great thing about that is obviously they showed over 20 metres how quick they were, but to actually repeat effort is really what we're about in this game now. So they're great results. The other one was Kieran Harper, who came third. Now Kieran's obviously a prodigious talent, has had an interrupted year with injury, but just showed glimpses of sheer brilliance. The last game in the Under-18 Championships, Vic Metro WA, 8 shots at goal, kicked 4 goals, kicked a couple of unbelievable goals. So I think he's a bit of a smoky because people probably just haven't got a line on. They know the talent, but he probably hasn't been able to produce consistently this year. So where's he go? I think he'd be a great pickup for a club.
The guys are extremely fit, but are they fatiguing right now with what they've been put through?
They'd be mentally tired as well. Just the interview process as well as what's been physically thrown at them, and they need to butter up tomorrow because there's 3K test tomorrow.
I asked a few of them about that, and they said the events themselves don't take that much out of them. It's the waiting round, it's the standing round, and the mental aspect of preparing yourself for that next event over time.
All right, Matthew Lloyd is coming up next. He can talk about the clean hands test, although Jason McCartney thinks it's his test. We'll ask him about that. Guy McKenna also on Total Access at the NAB AFL Draft Combine. And for all the draft news, afl.com.au. Also the Footy Channel on Big Pine TV at 5:30 and again at 9 p.m. This is Total Access coming to you from the AIS in Canberra.